Okay, here's some hints for homework sheet 2. Question 1, we've done these before, removing brackets. So the first thing we do is we remove the first set of brackets, so x times x, x times 4, 4 times x, 4 times 4, and that gives you so many x squareds, so many x's, and a number. Do the same for the second bracket, so many x squareds, so many x's, and a number. Now this question is a big subtraction, so you have to do the first x squareds take away these x squareds, and then the x's take away the x's, and then the number take away the number. Okay, be very, very careful with the signs. Second question, vectors. What line segment is represented by b minus u? So we're going to go along, so I'm going to get a pen back. We're going to go along the b, and then we're going to go the opposite direction to the u. So looking at the picture here, along the b is along here, back along u is along here. So where did we start? Where did we finish? Jump to 1. Factorise. Remember, first thing we do with factorisation is we look for a common factor. So is there a number that goes into 48 and 3? And there is. It's 3. So take that as a common factor first of all. Next thing you look for is the difference of squares. And you will have a difference of squares here because this will be a square number. Take away x squared. So you've got 3 bracket bracket. Question 3, 4. Dividing fractions. Top heavy, 3 times 7 add 1. Divided by 9 times 2 add 4. Remember, what we do with dividing fractions is we turn it into a times by flipping this one. Things will cancel and your answer should pop out to be a nice easy number. Question 5, solve the equation. Doing these in class. First thing we need to do is factorise into a pair of brackets. And then we put the first bracket equal to 0, and that tells you what x is. Put the second bracket equal to 0, and that tells you what the x is. Question 6, percentage lost is 35%, so that's 100 take away 35, 65%. It is now 200 billion, forget the billion, just the 200 we're going to concentrate on. What was the original? So we know that 65% is equal to 200, so you can work out what 1% is, so you can then work out 100%. Or if you do it the other way, because it's a reverse percentage, it's a divide question, so it's going to be 200 divided by 0.65, whichever you prefer. Question 7. The pressure is increasing by 8%, so 100 add 8 is 108%. Turn that into a decimal. Now, this is slightly different to the normal question, because if it starts at 150, we don't want it to reach 230. So the only way we can do this is we go, well, what would the pressure be after 1 hour? So 1.08 to the power 1 times 150. Check it against the 230, and then do 1.08 to the power 2 times 150, and then 1.08 to the power 3 times 150, and keep going until you find the one which goes above the 230, which is when it becomes dangerous. And the last question, okay, the first thing we need to do is to find the perimeter of the path. So that's the distance around the outside of this arc, the outside of the little arc, and then the two straight bits added together. So we've got the big arc, so we call that the major arc, and the formula for that is angle at the middle divided by 360 times pi d. And then we've got the minor arc, which is again alpha over 360 times pi d. So looking at the question, we can see that the radius, the diameter of the big circle is 19, tells us that, and the diameter of the small circle is 15. So we can plug these numbers, the 19 for the big arc in here for the D, and the 15 for the small arc in here for D. The only problem we've got is what's the angle we're going to use. Now you have to be very careful, because the question's been a wee bit sneaky, because it's told you the angle on the outside, so you need this angle on the inside. It tells you this one in the question. It tells you this one's 135. We don't need that one. We need this one on the inside. So take it off 360, and then that's what goes in here for the alphas. So you get both of these answers for the small one and the big one. Then you need to add the straight bits on. Now the question is, what is the straight bits? Well, if we know the distance right across the circle is 19, which we do because it tells us 19 is right across, if we know that's 15, then we can work out what the wee straight bit is here, and this wee straight bit here is going to be the same. Then all you have to do after that is just add up your 4 answers to get your final answer for this perimeter. The area is slightly easier, because what we're going to do there is we're going to do the major sector subtract the minor sector. And remember, the formulas for them are alpha over 360 times pi r squared. Alpha over 360 times pi r squared. Again, because we know what the diameters are, we can work out what the radius is for each circle. And we know what the angle in here is that we're going to use. Okay, that should help.